Welcome back once again to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. Happy New Year to you. I'm going to ask our guest today, who likes to put these lists together according to the dossier, when do we stop saying Happy New Year? How long? What's the window? When can we stop it with this?
January 11th.
January 11th. It's already been decided.
There it is.
I'm happy. It's nice to have an answer before you see a face.
Because this is going to air on the 26th of January.
Yeah,
if I'm
we're
not
long
correct.
since past
Yeah,
the
This is
window.
going to go out to the world on Jamie's birthday via the YouTube
Right.
on January 26th, and then on the Earwolf on the 28th,
Yeah.
for those who like to listen and never look at us, which is preferred, let's be honest.
So if you've gotten a Happy New Year in the previous 2 weeks, shun that person.
Yeah, past the 11th, says our
Yeah.
guest. Yeah, well, that makes sense to me, too.
I think that should be the new rule, the 11th. So
Well,
let it be written.
I was going to say the 9th, so we'll have that discussion once the guest is introduced, because it matters. Those 2 days, you're fucking somebody.
It's a big 2 days.
Sammy.
Hey, buddy.
Welcome back from the East Coast.
Thank you.
You've been back now 3 weeks, according to the thing.
Right.
But today is the 6th of January. Let's stop lying.
Sure.
And you're just back from the whole mishbucha.
Yeah. I was
As
in New
the
York
Catholics
for
would
a
say.
little bit, and then down to sunny Florida.
Yeah.
And 3 planes in the last 10 hours be damned. I was going to be here.
Yeah, you did change all kinds of plans to come back.
That is 100% accurate, yes. I was not going to miss this.
Our guest is already...
Boy, I got dinner plans. Yeah, this is so rude.
It really
You
is.
really make your guests wait a long time before you put a camera on them. I love Sammy, but come on.
And you're just meeting Jamie. All right, we'll come back to you guys for your questions
By all means.
that I know you'll have.
No, get to it.
We all know how much I
right-
love being on camera anyway.
Yeah, please.
So it doesn't matter.
Write to us at contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com and let us know how you do the show. Do you watch us? Do you listen? How do you do all the things? Send in your Larry King games. And from there, I say, my guest today I'm most excited to have because he golfs with Richard Kind. Please welcome Larry David. How are you, sir?
Let's talk about this New Year's thing.
Let's get right to
Yeah.
it. You say the 11th.
First of all, I only receive Happy New Year.
You never give.
Never give.
Right.
Never.
Because?
Because it sounds awful coming from my mouth because it's so insincere. Because I don't even know what it is. Happy New Year. In what regard? What does it even mean? Like a Happy New Year, like the party's happy, or
No.
what? What's happy?
I think you're wishing them good cheer in the new year. Have a good year, is what you're saying.
Are you saying have a good year?
Yeah. Happy New Year. If you're
I
at a
see.
party and you want to kiss a girl, that's a whole other thing. It's a way of
Well,
saying.
that's just manipulative.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. It's a little pervy.
That I can engage in. Yes.
Right. That one makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the after the party's over. It's January 4th, and why am I still saying Happy New Year?
Yeah, and why can't, if you're wishing somebody good cheer for the entire year,
Yeah.
Why can't you say it Happy New Year in June? What's the difference? Happy rest of the year.
Right.
You know.
I may not see you the last 6 months.
Right.
You should be happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And also there's insincerity because it's perfunctory. You don't really mean it ever.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's like I notice as the agents and managers and people are coming back to town and show businesses decided it's okay to restart, in emails, you have to start with Happy New Year, and now let's talk about
See,
money.
I don't. Yeah.
No, you don't start any of that.
But you know what I'm good at?
Please,
I'm good at the happy birthday.
because
I
mean it.
I mean it.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. You know,
Yeah.
it's your special day.
Right.
And I'll give you a great happy birthday, if I remember.
Sure.
Yeah. That's another story.
Now, mine's a day before Halloween, so I got a little screwed with the Halloween in terms of themed parties. But you're a couple days before 4th of July.
Yes.
Was there any screwing on that end? Because we got a big
No,
holiday
the 4th
coming
of
up.
July didn't infringe on me.
Really?
No, it didn't.
Never?
It didn't. No infringement. No.
Because there's big parties on the 4th.
Yes, but it had nothing to. First of all, I was away in camp a lot during my birthday.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Summer camp.
Summer camp.
Right.
The first time I was 14, and I went away, and I'm in the dining room. It's July 2nd. Okay,
Right.
my birthday.
Yes.
And I'm shy. I'm 14 years old. I don't know any of these people.
Sure.
And the camp director stands up in the middle of the dining room, and we have a birthday.
And how many kids? 500?
Yeah, hundreds of kids in the dining room. Larry David, please stand up.
Oh, God.
So, yes.
Hellish.
Yeah, that was bad.
Was there any attention after the meal of people stopping by to say happy birthday? I'm guessing none. Because they
I
don't
can't
know from
remember.
nothing either.
No.
Yeah, they just.
But my birthdays were always in camp
Oh yeah, growing up.
when I was growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't do the summer camp as a West Coast Jew. There was not a big summer camp thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
You missed out.
In what way? Because I've always
Oh, it's
felt like
fun,
I missed
fun.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Girls, ladies.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ladies?
Yeah.
Or girls?
Girls. I'm doing Mel. You know, there's ladies here. Yeah.
That's right. What about the CITs? Were they attractive as well?
When you're 14,
Yeah.
everybody's attractive.
Sure.
What ages did you do summer camp?
Starting at 14?
No, so I started at 13, but they didn't know it was my birthday that year. I went from 13 to 18.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was a counselor at 18.
Okay.
I was a waiter 16 and 17. The worst waiter in the camp.
So you're working at the camp as a waiter, but you're also staying in the cabin with who?
My
Other.
bunkmates. What do you mean?
I mean, when you go and you stay in the cabin when you're 13,
Yeah.
then it's all these kids together.
Yeah.
Were you in the waiter's cabin, or you just happened to be one of the kids?
No,
in the
we had a
cabin?
waiter's cabin when I was 16.
You did?
And a waiter's cabin when I was 17. Yeah.
Okay. It's a whole world. Is this in the Poconos? Where is this?
Catskills, Poconos. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Right.
Fascinating. And any contact at all with anyone from those days?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Wait.
That's not true, because I went with some friends from Brooklyn,
Oh, okay.
and I'm still in contact with them.
Right.
Yeah.
You're from the Brooklyn, but I do have
By
to.
the way,
Yes.
I'm sure you were joking when you said the Brooklyn.
Yes, I was. I was being an old Jew.
Yeah, no,
Do
be-
people say the Brooklyn?
No, I've never heard it in my life. No. But you know, you can't. Nobody says you're from Bronx. It's the Bronx.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And the explanation for that would be.
I don't know.
Okay.
It might be a Dutch thing.
Here's hoping. You were raised in the.
By the way, please explain the coaster on this disgusting table. That's what I want to know.
Well, first of all, the cameras. Well, they do
Yeah.
pick it up how gross it
I mean,
actually
you've got
is.
a little rubber coaster here
You know what it is?
for this chopped up
It
table.
must be some sort of a Hebrew tradition.
It's for the noise.
Yeah, it's to really keep Sam's parents happy who watch the show. You were raised in Brooklyn,
Yes.
but I have to ask: had the family moved to the South when you were a boy? How do you think you would have taken to being called Larry Jean by the neighbors? How long would that have lasted? Would they say Shalom, y'all?
Is that really on
Yes.
your list? Don't you think that's an amazing coincidence? You should tell the audience why that's so funny to me.
They don't, well, maybe I should, because otherwise the laugh
Yeah.
will almost seem haunting.
Yeah.
We were just talking prior to going live that you don't hear from Jews in the South, and specifically,
I said they don't do the accent well.
Jews do not do the Southern
Jewish
accent well.
actors don't do a good Southern accent.
Let's get Jeff Goldblum on the phone,
Yeah.
because I would challenge.
Okay.
But yeah, Steve Landisberg used to do a bit in his act. Do you remember with the hunting?
Yeah.
What are you fellas using 22s? He would try to. I remember.
Yeah, you could do it for a line.
But it was his joke. You never hear about Jew hunters.
Oh.
You never hear about Jews hunting for ducks. What are you using, fellas? 22?
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
specifically said, yeah. So the Jews, no Southern, no hunting, and no duck dynasty. You're not going to get any.
All right, and I'm not going to say the word Jew one more time.
Well, let's
I'm
put
taking the over.
The over/under's at 7.
I'm taking the over.
We have to talk a little bit about golfing with Richard Kind, because last time Jamie and I ran into it was at the farmer's market here in Los Angeles, and he came out of the bathroom at the farmer's market in shorts and a
polo.
black polo shirt,
Did you
monogram Richard Kind on the side.
Did you meet him there, or was this planned?
Just
or-
ran into him.
You just ran into him.
Yeah,
Okay.
just passing through a little alleyway, and the bathroom comes out, and there's Richard Kind. Oh, hello! And he's got Richard Kind monogrammed on his shoulder.
Wow.
Who wears a shirt with their name on it?
How did that happen?
Exactly.
What's the history of that?
Well, he was having his regular coffee clatch at the farmer's market. Apparently, it's where Alta Cockers meet.
No, I mean, how did it happen that he put that
from a
on
golf
his shirt?
tournament.
Oh, golf
It
tournament.
had been made at a golf tournament,
Oh.
which you've been to, I'm assuming. Would you wear then a shirt afterwards that has your name on the side?
Oh, please.
I was telling them,
I wouldn't wear, all the stuff we got from Seinfeld
Shows.
and the shows, or the whatever. Never would I ever wear anything like
Not
that.
possible.
Not possible.
I was telling them I got a wrap gift on the Grumpy Old Men movie, like a $600 LL Bean giant winter coat.
Yeah.
Grumpy old man. Ruins the whole thing. Can't wear this great jacket.
I couldn't even wear the shirt with the alligator. You know what I did?
What?
I cut it. I cut it off.
No, you didn't. Come on.
I did. Somebody gave it to me. I don't know how I got the shirt. I don't remember. I do remember taking a scissor
And you have a hole?
and cutting the label off.
And you have a hole.
I didn't do a very good job.
I am not going to feign.
Jews have trouble cutting.
All right, there's number 4. Give me a little golfing with Richard Kind. What's the best and the worst of that experience?
First of all,
He's a very good golfer.
he's very good.
I'm told.
Yes.
Where would you put his handicap? 12, 14?
I'd say he's around, 10 to 12.
Wow, that is great.
Maybe 12.
Okay.
I don't want to insult him because it could be 8 for all I know.
Well, let's insult him.
I think it's a 12.
Okay.
It could be higher.
Then it wouldn't be an insult at all.
Could be 14, 16.
Then now he's thrilled.
Yeah.
Now, this is extremely hot off the presses. Earlier today, your old pal, Jerry, you're familiar with the red site Reddit? Where you
No.
do these, that's right, you don't like to spend too
No.
much time other than what we talked about earlier
Yeah.
on the internet. Well, there's this site where you do these Q&As where you open it up literally to the world and they can ask you any question and you spend an hour or 40 minutes or whatever
What?
just answering random questions that come in over the screen.
Who does that?
People, when they're promoting.
Do they?
He has the third season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee,
Oh, okay.
of which you've been on.
Yeah.
So he's on this thing promoting, and he's taking questions from everyone. This was today. And so it made news because he said the following, and I quote, "Larry and I never obsess over anything that isn't mundane. Most recent was intentional mumbling." And then he added, "We wrote this script for this thing that you will eventually see, but I can't reveal what it is at this time. All I can do is tell you that it's big, huge, gigantic." Comment?
Well, he's clearly joking.
Wasn't clear to me.
We did write something, but apparently I'm not at liberty to say what it is.
Apparently. Did you know that
But it's minutes at best.
you wrote a thing?
Yes, minutes.
Does that have anything to do with intentional mumbling? Or that just was
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's part of the dialogue.
right? Intentional mumbling, because when I read that, I was trying to.
Well, if you're mumbling something, you don't want the person to hear what you're mumbling.
You want them to say, "What's that?"
Yeah, you want them to know that you're mumbling because you're dissatisfied.
Aha.
But you don't want them to know exactly what you said, hence the mumble.
Right. Right.
If you didn't mumble, you would have said it,
That's right.
right?
You would have articulated
Yes,
the point if,
yeah.
in fact, you wanted it heard.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's a
Right.
power too.
Yeah.
That's a power move because what you're taking over the relationship in a sense because that leaves that person with a need and want and of information.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Well, they've done something wrong.
That's right.
Right?
You've
Yeah.
made them feel insecure.
What did I do? What'd you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what if you mumble and they don't ask? What if there's no follow-up? What if you mumble, they go, okay, and then you're screwed.
It has
Well-
no effect.
I think then you have to increase the mumble volume.
So they hear a couple of words
Yeah,
that
right,
may in fact
yeah.
disturb them. Chevrolet. And you never know what it's going to be. Right. And then he was also asked about your first meeting, you and he.
Uh-huh.
You might be surprised at this. I don't know. You probably already discussed it. But
I'm surprised he's answering these questions.
right?
Yeah.
I was actually eavesdropping on Larry talking to another comedian, and I wasn't even in comedy yet. We didn't talk, but him and this other comedian were leaning on the fender of my car, and I knew that they were real comedians, and I was still just flirting with the idea. 3 years later, when we did talk, we couldn't stop. We were both obsessed with the smallest possible issue. Ring a bell?
I don't remember leaning on the car.
Yeah, what is that?
And I certainly don't remember being a real comedian.
Well, let's stop there for a moment. Because I started in the mid-'70s on the West Coast, and I think
Yeah.
around that same time you had already been doing it a little bit in New York.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Did you do the road? Was it just New York? Boston?
Just New York.
Right.
Occasionally I would do some of those terrible Jersey clubs where they would, the Gong Show was on at the time and you'd get gonged. Remember the Gong Show?
Sure.
Yeah. So when people would come to comedy clubs then, they would gong you.
Oh no.
was-
Oh no,
it
they
was
gave
a-
somebody a gong.
Yeah, no, they just yell it out, gong.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. So,
I can't fathom being subjected to that. And that must have gone well with you.
oh yes, that was great.
Because the quote of you taking the stage and looking at the audience and saying, I don't think so, and walking off, has been shared 1 billion times over. I don't know what your memory of the
No,
moment-
that's true.
well, we all assumed it was true.
That's a true story.
But I'm now understanding maybe it came from being seeing this gonging effect that people could gong you. So you go up before they had a chance to gong, you would gong them. But
I'll gong them.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
I turned the gong around.
that's right. So were there opportunities to do the road and you said no thanks, or because the road
I didn't quite have an act that was going to work on the road.
it wouldn't travel
It barely traveled over the bridge.
into the city?
Yeah, into the city.
Because there weren't many places even in the early 70s to get up. The Improv wasn't a thing yet, right?
No, the Improv. Yeah, the Improv was
Started
there.
in what, 70, 71?
Well, the Improv was there for years before I went there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Years.
But
3,
Catch?
4.
Was Catch?
Catch was there. Catch. That's where I auditioned the first time. Was
Right.
Catch, the Improv and comic strip and a bunch of smaller clubs throughout the city.
We're already thriving.
Yeah.
And so the desire to do this on the road, you just felt like, it's,
I just couldn't bring my. I did it a couple of times.
right.
And they were all awful. Every experience I had.
Do you remember what city you went to?
I went to Philadelphia.
All right.
I did some colleges. Did I go to Washington? I don't even remember. Maybe that's one of those things I lied about, like how long I was a virgin till
So we're talking about taking the train, somebody's car. How do you do
I went to
it?
Philadelphia. I know that.
For sure.
Yes.
You mentioned you knew David Brenner, and they welcomed you in.
Oh,
Wasn't he the son?
Yeah.
Son of Philadelphia?
He was, right. He was a Philly guy.
So what about guys like David Brenner? Because when you're starting out, he's already been on the Tonight Show
Yes.
dozens of times.
Yes.
And then you see these guys in the comedy clubs in New York.
Yeah.
I imagine that was kind of a big deal.
You mean to see people who were on television?
To starting out, and
come
here
in?
they are in your home
Yeah.
court, as it were.
Yeah.
Because he would stop by on occasion, I would imagine, and Freddie Prinze must have been coming through. We're talking about
He may have been dead.
the early 70s? No.
Well, I'm 70. I started in 74, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you do, obviously, you don't remember the Fender, but you do remember. Oh, here's the other thing I want to ask you about. So Jerry also said, I can't believe, and you may not believe either, that he answered this question. Favorite episode? You guys must get asked that 10 billion times. He says, The Rye. Favorite episode, The Rye, because, quote, we got to shoot at Paramount Studios, which was the first time we thought, wow, this is almost like a real TV show.
Yeah, but we did go off. We did shoot the limo at
Another studio.
another studio on that back lot there.
Yeah.
Which was also fun. The Rye was definitely one of my favorite episodes. I think that the Keith Hernandez show is probably my favorite show.
Yeah. He mentioned also the.
I like the Bubble Boy a lot. I like the puffy shirt. I like the contest.
Our neighbor's in the Bubble Boy.
Our neighbor, Brian Doyle Murray. Is in the book.
Brian Doyle Murray, yes, he's in the Bubble Boy, yeah.
So well, that's a great interjection, actually. So somebody like Brian Doyle Murray, were you guys at that point sort of casting people that made you laugh, that you liked in terms of these supporting roles? Because so many people have gone on and had these careers that, oh, by the way, did you know so-and-so did this episode, whether it's Dana Gould or Bryan Cranston or whoever, you know, it has gone on to not necessarily that was the birthplace of someone's career, but I always wondered, were you guys hiring people that you thought were funny at the time, or someone was suggesting?
Most people auditioned.
No, they did.
Yeah.
Right. He mentioned also the one with the pothole, where Newman gets set on fire.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
Oh, you were gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's talk about the.
Still, it remains one of my favorite episodes.
You do like that one. Well, even though you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
But no, regarding that meeting with Jerry, I don't remember. I do remember when we talked, though, that there was this instant kind of
Obsession on the minutia.
an instant clicking of personalities.
Yeah.
You know, much like we have.
Sure, sure. I do sense it.
And
glad you-
the show Pollock is in the works.
I'm not happy with the name. I'm not happy with the name, I'll be honest with you.
I spelled it with a C.
Yeah.
It was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, I'd rather it be that Pollock. Well, so
All right, Levine.
That's better.
here's
The world is ready.
Mm.
They'll never be ready.
Let's all take a sip, everybody. It's just fresh water.
It's good.
How, I know you had written for Fridays in SNL before the
Seinfeld.
creation of Seinfeld, but how prepared did you feel when your pal Jerry called and said, they want me to develop this thing, do you want to create the show with me? And how much writing in that milieu had you done?
Next to nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Because I just wrote sketches
Right.
for those shows that you mentioned, and no, I did not know how to write a half-hour show.
so did it seem like an instant challenge in terms of
Oh yeah.
exciting?
No.
Or dreading?
No, dreading. Yeah, as I dreaded everything.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what the form was. I had no idea how many pages I had to write. The whole thing was a mystery to me.
Did you in fact say to him, and I'm asking, not quoting any other interviews, but did you, I always wondered if you said to him, why are you bugging me with this?
Well, he had read a screenplay.
Okay.
First of all, you know, we were friends.
You were very great friends.
We were friends, and he liked my stand-up, and he also read a screenplay that I had written, which he liked a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, I don't question the ability.
no, I'm saying that's why he asked me.
Sure.
Is your question?
Once you were brought in,
Once I was brought in,
and you were saying,
did I say to
why,
him, I don't really know what I'm doing?
why are you bothering me with this? I don't know how to do any of this. The sitcom format?
I'm sure I said that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And how long did you guys kick it around? Because I remember it was really the late night people, Ludlum maybe, who was crazy.
Rick
Yeah, something like Ludlum.
Ludwin. Yeah.
Was crazy about him, his late night, you know, there was the Tonight Show and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and they didn't really know what the hell to do. And I never knew how long you guys kicked around an idea before you pitched the so-called show about nothing.
Not very long at all.
A couple of days?
Not even. I think.
Really?
I just think we went to this Westway diner.
Uh-huh.
And just had a cup of coffee.
Uh-huh.
And that was it.
What do you think, 4 friends, 3 friends?
No, there was nothing to it. Nothing to it.
Right.
You know.
So how prepared?
No, the idea was basically how does, it'll be about you.
Right.
You're a stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your material from? How do you get your material? What is your life like that you're able to carve these routines? Where do these routines come from? So, for example, we'll go to a dry cleaner, and you'll have an incident in a dry cleaner, and then at the end of the show, you'll do a stand-up bit about it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that was the initial idea.
Right.
You'll go on a date. So you'll do at the end, you'll do a routine about the dry cleaner and the date, you know.
Sure.
Right? So that seemed like a decent idea. And you'll have a friend.
Right.
Because you have to talk to somebody.
Most people do.
And then you'll have an ex-girlfriend, and you'll have an idiot neighbor, you know.
Oh.
I better not say idiot neighbor, because it was based on my neighbor, and he's not an idiot. The real guy.
Yeah, sure.
The guy in the show was, I think, somewhat of a nut. Yeah.
Yeah, needless to
A
say.
hipster doofus, if you will.
Yeah, hipster doofus. Okay.
They were loosely based on someone, or at least taking their name
Yeah.
and so on.
So, you know, that's pretty much what was pitched.
Right. Which, by the way, is a lot less romanticize, as it's been throughout history, that a show about nothing was pitched, because that isn't a show about nothing. That's how a stand-up puts together his act. That's how a stand-up lives his life, which we hadn't really seen.
Yeah, but I think the idea was that it would not be a heavy story show.
Right.
That we wouldn't have to know what's going to happen next. It would be more of a meandering thing and most of the humor would just be tangential.
Sure.
That grew out of discussions, because we went to this grocery store, this Korean grocery store, and this is before we even got the idea of the show.
Right.
And we were in the grocery store. This is when he first proposed the idea, and we went to the grocery store. We were going to share a cab back to the West Side, and we just started talking about the cereal brands and everything in the store. And I actually said, this is the show. This is the kind of dialogue that we should have on the show.
Right.
Because this is the kind of dialogue that we never heard.
Right.
So once the actual writing started to kick off, and I realized that this is not going to work.
Because
Because
wasn't compelling enough?
it wasn't compelling enough.
Right.
That
Wasn't story driven.
that you needed stories.
Right.
And so I did a complete 180 on it, where I became completely obsessed with stories, writing stories.
And interweaving.
How do you write a story? The interweaving, that came about because there were 4 characters.
Right.
And I noticed that there could be some moping early on. There could be some moping on the set
If people weren't,
if people did not have
Sure.
a sufficient amount to do.
it's organic.
And I thought, I don't want anybody moping.
Right.
I don't like that. And then I started to write 3 or 4 stories,
Right.
and getting the story. And then even at the beginning, before we even started, I would think about, well, how can that hook up with this thing?
Yeah.
And that's sort of how that started.
Well, it becomes the magic of the show, and it's interesting because Andy Scheinman from the Castle Rock
Yeah.
played in the poker game a couple of weeks ago, and someone was asking him about the show because the Castle Rock was involved, and he was saying it took 3 seasons maybe, or 3 years to get a full season out of these bastards because they weren't sure what to do with the show. First it was on Friday, not Thursday, and so on.
But when you say bastards, you're not referring to me and Jerry.
NBC.
NBC. I just want to clear that up. Yeah.
No, the bastards with the
Yeah,
football
gotcha,
and
yeah,
the money.
yeah.
Initially, they didn't give a full commitment to the show until like 3 years in. Did you get an actual?
The first pickup was for 4 shows.
4 shows.
Then the next pickup was for 13.
Right.
The next pickup was for 22.
And that's 3 years in.
Yeah.
So around that time, in the first 13, you say you found this interweaving thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that the popularity was. You think it was just the Thursday night, or do you think that the show found that format of mixing these and building them back together? Because it did become one of the things that people seem to love so very much about the show, other than the obvious thing, which would be the characters and how funny it was. But that interweaving became an important component. Am I wrong? Biggest fans in the world of this show?
You are not wrong. That's
right.
one of the
It set it
trademarks of the
apart.
show is
Trademark.
in the last act. Generally, there's going to be some overlap, and it's always amazing.
This is. I never realized that anybody was even paying attention to that stuff. I knew people liked the show,
Right.
but and every now and then somebody would say, "Oh, I like how that's how it you
Something
put
got tied up.
Yeah, yeah. But it wasn't anything that I thought people gave any thought to.
Well, that's the other thing to keep in mind. When you're in it at the CBS Radford, when you're in the pocket,
Yeah.
and the show's going on down on the floor, and you've got this writing, and that train is just moving down the tracks. Clearly, when you get the full 26, how much does it just completely take over?
Yes.
Every waking moment.
Yes.
There's no way out of it once
No.
you get in.
But I think in some respects it was better than a room where people stay. We never stayed there all night.
Right.
We never had any of those things. We didn't do a room. There was no room. where the
you and
writers were
Jerry
with his
and-
12 writers in a room punching up a script.
12 Angry Men. Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do any of that, so there were no late nights or anything like that. The writers on the show didn't have to go through that.
Right.
You know, and neither did I really.
So, you know, because sitcom world for an actor is arguably the greatest job in show business because of the
For an
hours.
actor.
For an actor.
No question about it.
Right.
The best job in the world.
In the
Yeah,
world.
In the world. Yes, I've said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 22 hours a week, tops.
Well, let's take, if there's 22 shows and it's 4 days a week, it's 88 days a year.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And you do 3 on, 1 off.
Yeah.
Right? For the actors.
Yeah, it's a kick job. It's a great job. Yeah.
I just started up on this Chuck Lorre show,
Yeah.
Mom, with Allison Janney and Anna Faris. And just recently, like a whole new, brand new thing. Like, I don't know how this somehow
Yeah.
was kept from me. The joys of this. I've always
Yeah.
heard. And I did a couple of fabulously failed pilots, but I had not been in the pocket because I kind of walked
Yeah.
in the middle of the
How
first
great
season.
is it?
Oh my
It's unbelievable.
Because Chuck, with all the success of his 4 shows on the air, it's 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on, 1 week off.
Yeah,
How does that?
right.
And then Thursday, the camera blocking day, the horrible day, done with stand-ins.
Yes, I know. It's
Now,
amazing.
Yeah. So
So yeah, you leave the stage and you're walking to your car. You go, "This is the job. I can't believe this is unbelievable." Yeah.
but for the writers, it doesn't stop.
For the writers,
There's no
it's-
time
yes,
off.
Right.
Like they just did this Christmas break, and I remember it comes back to work today, and I thought, oh, there's a script here. So obviously the writers were working during the Christmas
yeah, I
break.
worked over Christmas.
Yeah. So even once the show sort of starts to hit its stride in ratings and success, and people are heralding and so on, while you're still in the pocket, there's got to be a moment where it's careful what you wish. It's got to be a moment when the hard work you guys put in, the sweating the bullets of, is this show going to last? Because the first couple of years, they're not giving you anything. On the Friday night and the 4 shows, even with the 13, you don't know where you stand.
Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
it never concerned me whether or not it was going to last. If they ended, they could have ended at any time, and I would have done cartwheels.
You were waiting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. When cancel this? Why aren't they canceling?
Was that a mantra in the offices?
Just me.
Why aren't they canceling?
Yeah.
Because it was already enough, or because you didn't need the aggravation?
No, right from the get-go. First of all, from the beginning, I had my doubts that I could even do it. Okay,
Right.
and then as it was getting done and it was becoming successful and popular, then it was like, oh, now the next season has to be better than the last one. You know.
Yeah.
And then the one after that has to be better than the one before, and the one before that.
None of that's good for you.
Yeah, that's now the pressure's starting to build.
Right.
How's this going to be better than last season? We can't do this. You know?
We did it.
Yeah.
So you would have been happy with that full 26 and be done with it already. I have a feeling that first 26, when the whole
Honestly,
Yeah.
honest to God,
4 shows and out.
honest to God, when they picked it up for 13,
Yeah.
I cried.
You cried.
I cried.
You wept.
I wept. Yeah.
Openly.
Openly. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Did you call Jerry at any point and say, I don't know if this is still a good idea?
No.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. You
Yeah.
kept this pain to yourself.
No, I shared a lot of it with him, but not, you know,
Yeah.
not so much the I can't do it part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's jump out of the misery of work and creativity and talk a little
By the way, may I?
Sure.
I think you're very good at this.
That's the one sheet.
This is.
We got a one sheet.
I think he's very good.
We're having a
He's
You know,
phenomenal.
He makes the guest very relaxed. He's asked me stuff that nobody's asked me before. I'll tell you that.
That's our trademark.
You know.
right
That's
there.
a first for me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, would it be better if you didn't have this pile of notes in front of you? Yeah. No, I'm joking. No.
You'd rather we did research,
No,
wouldn't you?
yeah, no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But no, my hat's off.
Well,
I
my
think
hat's on.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Well-
and don't cut that from the show. Don't cut that from the show just because it builds you up.
By the way-
I know you'll want to cut it,
Yeah.
Modesty will compel you to cut it.
You're not wrong,
Yeah.
but don't be surprised if that's all of the show. If it's just that. Because it really does benefit me if it's just a 30-second clip.
Okay, and I await your next question eagerly.
I want to talk a little bit about your guild congratulating you, that first WGA award. That, because we've had filmmakers here who talked about, I think it was Jason Reitman who said the WGA award, because there's like 5 nominees and they give them all the same thing, and it's really more so than anything. So I'm curious, because it's not a popularity contest as much, or so it seems to me, as something like the Golden Globes and the Thing into that. It seems like the WGA, we're all because writers, oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, they are not fond of each other's success that I've seen. Good for you, you got the thing, that's great. Right? So that's...
Who's that guy?
nauseous. It's nauseous.
No, you're doing somebody. I forgot who that is. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's a little Gleason.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, was there any sense of being able to appreciate what that actually? No. No. Silly of me. Silly of me to think.
Got it. And took it home. Put it down.
Yeah. Put it down.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't hold it much.
No, didn't hold it.
Okay.
It was nice. It was very nice. It's so much better to win than show up and lose.
Well, no question.
You know.
But that one in particular didn't have any special. Because it's the
No,
WGA?
I'm not going to lie. It was very nice. But it's not my nature to
enjoy,
to sort of close my eyes and think how wonderful it is. You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would never go that far as to think that that was possible. I always wondered, though, because the guilds are broken up in such a way that the voting members are your tribe or whatever the hell. And the writers in particular, because comedians are the most competitive people on the planet, or so I've felt.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed among writers, they're the most cynical people I've met in terms of work that comes out. Shows and movies, and they can rip the sweetest, most wonderful thing into shreds.
Yeah, so I'm competitive and cynical.
As it turns out. As it turns out, we've got one more for the trifecta. We started the show, I hope this doesn't suck after all those compliments. We started the show with the rules of the Happy New Year. It has sort of become one of your things, certainly on Curb. I think more so it's sort of come into its own, the protocol and the rules. I have to believe, or do, that it stems a little bit from your own life. I have a problem with chaos. I have this thing now, and they've been bored by it because I can't shut up about it. The peeing on the seat in the public restroom in a men's stall, when you see urine on the seat there, that's the end of civilization. Because you know what that says, Larry? Screw the next guy. I don't care about him. I'm going to comfortably pee on the seat.
It might not even say that. It might be, I'm too stupid to think about the next guy.
well, that's dangerous.
Yes.
That's more dangerous.
Right.
So I like the rules. I'm not a fan of chaos.
It's not, when you say rules.
I mean, I wish people would follow a protocol that we do on a golf course.
I think we're talking about common sense.
Yes.
Right?
A lot of these are.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple I'd like to ask.
Oh, sure.
Okay?
Yeah, fire away.
I'd like to go through a series of life situations one by one.
Okay.
Each of which needs a rule.
I'm going to need some more water.
Yeah. This is when the scrutiny begins. Each of these life situations needs a rule to live by.
Okay.
All I ask is that you say the first thought that comes to mind.
Oh, no, I hate Rorschach stuff.
No. Okay, feel free to think about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, these are not bad so far. You get a Christmas card.
I like how you've turned me into Emily Post. You know?
Well, you got to understand. You have to understand. Precedent has been set on Curb. You've had these wonderful moments where this sort of Larry protocol is kind of a thing that the fans then debate. Would you? How long would you wait in the elevator before you push a button when you think the guy coming up and they're like,
yeah.
You get a Christmas card that states a gift has been given to an organization in your name
yes.
that you detest. I
I detest the organization?
don't care for this organization. Really don't care for it.
What kind of organization? I mean, what is it, the KKK? Who could they possibly be? Who could they be?
I could think of a few examples, but I don't want to step on any toes. There's a couple
This one's called Screw the Whales. No, I don't know.
Supposedly good organizations that are just evil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It turns out that yeah. So that's the premise.
Okay.
A few nights later, you're at a party and see the couple who sent you this card.
Yeah.
And they eventually initiate conversation. Do you mention it? And if so, how soon does it come up?
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Comes up pretty quick?
I noticed you sent a little card for me. And, well, do you know anything about these people? Yeah. You could do that.
Okay. That's pretty much how I'd hope that one would go. Oh.
By the way.
Yes.
You know, regarding sending this thing in your name?
Yes.
You get this a lot from just acquaintances you barely know.
Yeah.
Right?
Giving money in your name.
Giving money in your name. And you're wondering if you're giving money in my name, there's got to be, and I don't hardly know you.
200 people on the list.
There's got to be 200, 300 people on your list.
How much are you giving?
How much are you giving?
If it's 300
because if it's $10, I don't need you to give that in my name.
That's the thing that makes me angry.
I'll give more than the 10.
That's right.
Let me know.
Yeah.
It's my name. You're making me into a cheapskate. You don't need to do that.
No, I'll do that on my own.
Next year, tell me how much you're giving, and I'll give it.
Oh, I'm writing Curb episodes without even trying. Well, you see, that's the exact thing that makes me angry, because I know, too, I'm on a list.
Yes.
And I'll bet you only gave $200, and there's 50 people on your list. Thanks for giving $4 in my name.
Yeah.
You piece of shit. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's aggravating as hell.
By the way, at that same function where they gave the money in my name,
Yeah.
the person who I gave the money to comes up to me
Says, what's with the $4?
and says, "What's with the $4?" Right after my conversation with them. You know?
All right, I noticed that you...
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I didn't give you that money. I wanted to give you a nickel. Yeah.
You can't stand the organization.
Right. I don't like you people.
But that person still thinks you chose to insult them by giving him $4.
Yes.
This is the thing that's aggravating. Once you decide to send out the card, we gave a donation in your name, you could literally put as many people on that list. If you have 2,000 people on your Christmas card mailing list, it's all of them. It's all of them. And by the way, we gave $100.
Yeah.
There is no stipulation. So I don't. That to me, I don't want to hear from anything. Mm-hmm. You know what? Don't give anything in my name ever, ever. If you can ask me for a donation, that I'm fine with. It gives me an option to say yes or no.
Yeah. Would you mind if I sent $50 in your name?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to change gears for 1 second while I allow the sponsors to pay the stipend to the crew. So forgive me while I break for these commercials. And then I add them later. Okay, done with that. Fantastic. Who now, I have to ask, from your own life, not from TV or movies, who's the first person that makes you laugh and that you take notice, this is a funny person, like from real life stuff?
Boy.
Family member, uncle, aunt, father, brother, sister, whatever.
Well, you know, just
somebody from school.
Comedians, comedy writers, you know, the usual.
Right.
Those people like that.
Right. And what about from early life? Like before you're anywhere near show business, I've even made the decision. You're 10, 12 years old, 13, you're going to camp, whatever. Who from real life are you taking notice? Because I remember there would always be some kid in school that would...
question I never had before. There's another one.
There was always somebody in school who just owned me, and they could say the stupidest thing and they would drop me like a sack of rocks. I mean, I could tell you the kid's name.
Really?
Yeah.
Gee, I don't remember a person like that.
So was there anybody funny in the family? Because my family was not funny at all. I mean, my mom's crazy.
My mother was crazy funny.
Right.
You know, in a Gracie Allen sort of way. But unintentionally.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, though.
But no, I don't remember anybody funny in my family.
Well, in terms of the unintentional humor in the Grace Allen way.
In fact, we called her Gracie.
Well, so how old are you before you're even aware of that kind of humor? Because if someone's saying something and they don't know it's funny,
Yeah.
but it's consistently hilarious
Yeah.
to everyone else,
Yeah.
you know, that's a turning moment in your own sense of humor to actually learn that thing.
I never thought about it like that, but,
Fantastic.
but Dr. Pollack, you might have something.
How much time do you spend before deciding what to buy? Clothing, a suit, a car, or something? Do you circle the thing? Do you do the research? How about that?
Research on buying something?
Yeah.
No.
Do you check Consumer Reports?
No, never.
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 Why would you?
No.
Why even put these things out?
Yeah, no. The first car I ever bought
Right.
was a Fiat, so I'm obviously not checking Consumer Reports.
You didn't even check the Fix It Again, Tony, for the letters.
I thought people must have been kidding around when they said that.
Right.
How's that possible?
It's a car.
It's a car. What do you mean? Everybody, car's a car. It's an engine. What, they don't know how to make an engine? Other people, it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, how can they produce cars and
Yeah,
sell them
right.
if everyone knows they're going to break down?
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought people were, it's like one guy had a problem with his car or something. I don't know. I didn't take it seriously.
Right. So you become aware that your mom is funny without trying, and you're seeing comedians or what have you on TV, or maybe somebody like Gleason, that you're, because I can actually remember, not moments, but just rhythms of his, the way he would, do certain gestures and things, and it was I just loved it.
Yeah.
But finding your own sense of humor is kind of a whole different thing. Is that something that maybe comes alive at summer camp? Is that something?
That came alive in college.
It did?
Yes. I had no idea that, I would watch comedians and I loved them and laughed.
Right. But never crossed your mind that.
Couldn't get enough. A comedian was coming on TV. Yeah, I would definitely want to watch it. But it didn't cross my mind that I could do it, nor did I even dream that I was funny.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was funny.
Right.
Nobody laughed at anything I did.
Nobody?
Nobody.
So it's not even in your thoughts?
It's not even in my thoughts that I'm the least bit funny. Okay.
So then in college?
Then I leave Brooklyn.
Go to Maryland.
And I go to Maryland, and all of a sudden, I meet some new people, so I make some new friends, and I'm suddenly this funny guy.
To them, or you feel a freedom?
To them, yes. I'm starting to say things that they're finding funny.
And are they the real?
Most of them were self-deprecating.
Sure.
And it had to do with my own inadequacies, particularly with women.
But they were real thoughts.
Well, they were real thoughts,
That you were-
and they're laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked, but I love it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous response the first time you're getting it.
Yeah. And so, and now all of a sudden, I'm a funny guy. Oh, like overnight.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't before.
And then was there a moment of, hey, look at this? What is this?
I don't know if I had that moment,
Right.
but
But at some point you cross from receiving to making the effort
yes.
to get those laughs.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a transition.
Yeah. But still didn't translate at all into becoming a comedian.
No.
Yeah.
Just for attention. Maybe get
No,
the girl.
just because I like getting laughs.
Sure.
But I never equated myself. The thing you have to understand is that I had a very low opinion of myself.
Weird. Didn't see that coming.
And didn't think, I never ever thought of myself as being able, that I would ever be able to do anything. So to be, or anything.
Oh.
So to go up on a stage and be a comedian.
No, that's out of the question.
That was it wouldn't even enter my thoughts.
Right.
It was too out of the realm of possibilities.
But it has to enter your thoughts at some point.
At some point it does, yeah.
Because what happened? Was it a dare?
No.
Because we're nowhere near the possibility right now. And there's a chasm between that place
Yes.
and you being on stage.
Yeah. So, after college, didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a series of jobs, cab driver.
Having everything to do with your major that you graduated
Yeah,
from
having everything
university.
to do with my major, cab driver, paralegal, private chauffeur, stuff like that. And I'm lost. I'm a lost soul,
In New York.
Yes, a lost soul. parents beside themselves.
What are we going to do?
Yes.
Went to university.
I would overhear conversations that were heartbreaking, terrible.
About you?
Yeah, about me, yeah. Oh, what are we going to do?
What's he going to do with himself?
They send me to a psychiatrist,
Sure.
And so I take the subway to Brooklyn to the psychiatrist, and what is it? He can't do anything for me.
No.
So then I don't know how or why I thought of this, but I decided to take an acting class.
You don't know how or why?
Well, I guess maybe I thought I was in plays in elementary school.
Aha.
Yeah.
You had a little stage time.
I had a little stage time in elementary school.
Fantastic.
So I did that.
You know what? I'm gonna try that.
So I thought I'll try that. So I tried that, and I didn't really like it all that much. But this one time I had to speak in front of the class as myself, and there were laughs.
Mm-hmm. It was a prepared text in front of the class, or read a scene? You just had to do something by yourself?
I had to take a character, what a character was, some bullshit.
You had to improvise.
I had to improvise, yeah, right. And
Which allowed you to think on your feet.
Yeah.
And incorporate your own thoughts and ideas.
Right.
Not somebody else's script.
Not somebody else's script, just, yeah, exactly. So that got laughs.
Yeah, it did.
And so after that got laughs, that was the moment for me that I thought, okay.
Wait a second, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
What am I having this cross my mind before?
Yeah.
Look how easy that was.
Yeah, right.
I just made some shit up about the chalk and the board and the teacher, and this could be a thing.
Right.
Was there a sense like that? There was an actual momentum?
Yes.
Because that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a moment.
And then I knew somebody who was doing it, somebody from college, and I had coffee with him, and he said, well, here's what you have to do. You have to write some material, and you can go on here, you can go on here, and go on there, So he gave me a list of places, and I started, okay, and then I told everybody, I said, I'm going to do stand-up comedy. And I wrote material. And
do you think there's a chance you were telling some of these people that you're going to do it as a way to force yourself?
Yes, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yes, you have great insight.
Well, no, I did the same thing.
Yeah, you did?
Initially,
yeah.
I think you need to say it to believe it's real, and you need to say it to have them say either, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or what you wish, which is, you should, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's pretty natural.
So, so I did it, and in fact, before I went on anywhere, I went to the Improv.
Just to watch?
I did this in the Improv documentary. I told this story. And I was watching a show. It's a Saturday night show. And in the middle of the show, I'm going, I can do this,
Who was on stage? Anybody of note? If not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was I think Richard might have been on, Freddie Prinz, good people.
Yeah.
But I was watching the show and I thought I could do it.
Yeah.
So I walk up to Bud Friedman on Saturday night.
Doesn't know you from Adam.
Yeah. I think I walk. He doesn't know me from Adam. I said I'd like to go on.
On a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night. He said, "Who are you?" I said, I'm in the audience." He said, "Have you ever done comedy before?" I said no. He said, "No, you can't go on." He said, "You have to audition,
Yeah.
It's easily the single craziest thing that I have ever done in my life.
Was
going up to Bud, asking him to go on. Thank God he said no.
But you were, he did you a solid, but he was also covering his own ass.
Yeah.
And also you were utterly clueless, clearly.
Yes.
You weren't thinking,
I was thinking I would go on and start talking. That's all it took to do comedy, is to just walk up and start talking.
You asked the guy who's...
Just the way, you talk, and hey, I'm funny, and I'm going to start talking.
Where's the chalkboard?
Yeah.
And why not ask the owner?
Yeah, why not ask the owner? Little did I know how hard it was.
Yeah.
It was and is hard.
Well, I think Jerry ended up doing a bit about it. I've commented on this for a long time. separate from being a part of an act, which is just a statistic that America's #1 fear above death is public speaking. That's just a stat.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, it's just real.
Right.
So, in fact, one of the things behind the documentary was, who are these people, given that statistic, that say, I'm going to get up on stage by myself and just talk and try to elicit laughs from strangers. I mean, as a concept, it's pretty horrible.
By the way, I hate public speaking.
Do you?
If somebody asks me to give a toast,
Oh, no.
I hate it.
How'd the last one go?
They're all terrible.
Like at a wedding or something? Or?
Yeah, anything. I'll always make a fool of myself. I'll always regret it. It'll never be any good. You know. They're never any good.
Or even an acceptance speech.
Always terrible.
Dreaded.
Yeah, dreaded.
Yeah.
And I'm very shy, and
again,
but yet somehow, it's different.
Yeah, but the wherewithal behind that now classic Larry David as a stand-up comedian moment of walking on stage and saying, I don't think so, and walking off. The level of confidence behind that, you may not even be aware of. Because what you're saying is, you people, it's not just that you're not up to this, so I'm leaving. I'm going to be invited back. The fact that I'm not going to perform right now is not going to affect anything.
Right. Well,
that's a level of confidence I don't think you were aware of.
Yeah, it was. I think because they got a kick out of my shenanigans.
I think they did.
So.
And when that happens, you kind of.
So that gave me.
The confidence.
That emboldened me.
Right. You'd lean into it a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, I love using the word emboldened, so make sure to put that into the show.
Well, I'll get news for you. Yeah. We're not editing anything. There's not a chance in hell. I want to know, you did a couple of smaller parts for...
and I'm still thinking about that fourth thing on the list, that question that you gave me. I'll come up with it eventually. Yeah.
The fourth one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a couple of small parts for Woody Allen in some of his films, but being the lead in a Woody Allen film, for I'm just going to say it, Jewish comedian, we who were raised in a Jewish home or whatever and chose stand-up comedy, and then Woody Allen just organically becomes, I guess if you're an Italian, the Scorsese, whatever. It's just that filmmaker that you comedically, and also the way you were raised, you relate to this guy the most, and it becomes the ultimate. So, having done a couple of small parts for him, I'm wondering how much of a careful what you wish thing experience of being the lead in a Woody Allen film, and also just what of that experience sort of stays with you in terms of positive or negative? Because
I remember getting this script. A telephone call that they wanted, from the agent wanted to send me a script. There might be something for me or something.
Didn't tell you much about it?
No. So I thought that, he wants to use me for a little kind of thing.
You've done that before?
Yeah. All right, so I get the script, and it comes with a note from him. Read part of Boris, So I open it up.
He's on every fucking page.
And he's on the first page. He's all over the first page. I go, well, what the hell is that? I leaf through a little bit. This is the page. This is all more. I go to the last page.
It's Boris.
Yeah. And then, then I read it. And then I have to decide. I said, okay, I'll do this, but I'm going to have to tell him that he's making a big mistake.
You have to tell him.
I have to tell him.
Yeah. You got to give him a heads up.
I don't want to show up on the set the first day and have him be surprised that I stink, Oh, yeah, thanks. So...
But it's not self-deprecating. You really do mean it.
Yeah, of course I mean it. Yeah.
You want to let him know he's made a horrible judgment.
Terrible error. Yeah. Look, I'll do it, but you have to know that it's not going to be very good.
And did he laugh assuming it was self-deprecating? Or what was his response to that? You're going to be fine, Larry. Don't worry about
exactly,
it.
Exactly.
No, it's going to be good. You'll see. I gave this some thought, you know. It's not something I was talking to the cat, and the cat said, what about Larry David? I said, you know, you should go back to purring because these are horrible ideas. Yeah, no.
But it was the thrill of a lifetime.
Has to be.
Yeah.
All right, so trepidation, even from the moment you open the script, as you realize you're on the first and last page and in between. You make that phone call, you have that conversation.
Yes.
He says it's going to be fine.
Yes.
You go to work. Now you're actually doing it.
Yes.
And in the dossier, you know, you've said in previous interviews, I don't understand this belief that Woody Allen doesn't really direct. He's obviously
I had heard
very much.
I had heard actors from time to time talking about him, and saying that.
Right.
But that wasn't my experience at all.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
I mean, I've worked with a couple.
Yeah.
Barry Levinson, I've said it to his face. You're great at writing and casting, and then your job is to get the hell out of the way. You don't really want to direct anybody.
Yeah.
You'll just say, okay, Larry, you're sitting there, and you got the cup and action. Cut, astounding. And then he'll no direction. Just
Well, he obviously liked what you did, because if he didn't, I'm sure he would have told you.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just going to sit there and let the scene be bad.
And I've also heard that about Woody, that he'll come right up and actually say
Right.
that was terrible.
You're right.
It was really rotten.
My first take, he said, not terrible. Yeah. Not terrible. Yeah.
First take.
Yeah.
That's a vote of confidence
right.
that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And did you chuckle? Were you able to appreciate
Yeah.
it? Because you have to be nervous. I don't even have to ask. You're nervous.
Yeah.
It's day one. You're number one on the call sheet.
I told him. I said, I'm nervous, you know. I said right away. I said, I'm nervous.
Yeah. But that's to be expected.
Yeah.
He's heard that before also.
I think he likes that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a day that you're feeling like, I'm going to be okay?
Not really. No.
Not a single day?
No.
How long's the shoot? And there's reshoots?
It's 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah. I think it was 6 weeks.
We want to think there was a moment, even for someone who suffers as much as you, where you were able to enjoy, I'm the lead in a Woody Allen. Because again, I preface this whole thing about Jewish comedians and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the thing. It's a fantasy that could never
There were
happen.
many pinch yourself moments throughout.
Have to be.
Yeah. I would go back to my trailer and go, I was just, look what I just did.
Yeah.
I was talking to Woody.
Was there anyone that you would have to call or talk to and just have that pinch yourself moment? Because sometimes that helps, you know, if you can actually say it to someone on the phone or something.
I would say, how cool is this?
You're right.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you find there were more visits to the set than I noticed every now and then when something really extraordinary, everybody wants to come visit the set. Did you have any of that?
No,
Or
nobody.
does he have a closed set? I don't.
I wouldn't invite anybody. I would never invite anybody.
What about on your own show?
No, I don't
Kermit?
invite anybody.
You don't like people visiting?
No. No.
Because
It's just
Distraction.
It's a distraction. It's an intrusion. You know, I want to be able to have my own selfish thoughts.
Right.
I don't want to socialize.
Yeah.
And entertain somebody.
Right.
When my mind won't be there.
Right.
My mind is not going to be on this person and seeing that they're having a good time, or are they going to be upset that I didn't pay attention to them? I don't need the social pressure.
Yeah. Now, what about the co-stars, people you hire for something like Curb, who, you know, because there is so much improvising going on. When, surprise, they're not that terrific at improvising, even though we agree it's not that hard as a thing to do.
Well, here's the thing.
Every now and then someone doesn't quite...
Most people, 98% auditioned.
Right.
Sometimes we would give out a part. Usually when we gave out a part, everything worked out fine. There were a few occasions.
These are the ones I'm asking about.
There were
We
a
don't need
few-
to name names.
No.
Of course
there were
not.
a few occasions when it didn't work out that well.
And when you realize that, as it's happening, is your thought, well, this is the bed we made, and we gotta,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna cut around and
Right, do the best we can and just get through it. Yeah, and I'll eventually go, no, say this, say this. I want you to say this line.
Right.
The worst thing people try and do is they try to be funny.
Ugh.
As opposed to, I say, here's my only note for you. Don't be funny. I don't want you to be funny.
Yeah.
You know?
And very few people understand what that means.
I do not want you to try to be funny. Don't think of anything funny or say anything that you think is funny.
Yeah. Don't speak in comedic rhythms.
Yes. Just be yourself.
Right.
Just be in the scene. Play the scene. The scene is funny. You don't have to be funny. The scene is funny.
Yeah.
So that's the main. That's where people go off the most when they try, because they think they're in a comedy, that they try and say funny things that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when I did Clear History,
Right.
all those parts were given out. All of them.
Yeah. And when you bring in a John Hamm, you know what you're going to get.
And they were all
Spectacular.
wonderful, spectacular, yeah.
We've had John Hamm on the show. We've been around him enough to know.
That did not sound like it was going to be very complimentary.
We've been around him.
I've been around this guy enough. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
We've done the math.
Yeah.
We've been around him enough. We've been around him enough to know that it's unfair to all other men. The old saying that God rarely gives with both hands means you can't really be that handsome and also that funny. Great dramatic actor, but also a natural-born comedian in some ways, which you just don't see coming with that Clark Kent face.
Yeah.
And we've just decided, as fans of his and now friends, it's not right. It's just not right.
Yeah.
And everyone else should just go home. So when you're working with someone and directing someone like that, what was that? I'm very curious what that was like, because I have not worked with him. I only know him socially, and he's been on the show. And
It didn't bother me.
that he was so damn handsome.
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
You felt yourself drawn to him and thought, I think I'm going to kiss him.
No, I didn't have those
That
thoughts.
never happened.
No, that didn't happen.
Because I did think that a couple of times when he sat here. When he sat here, I thought, I'm going to kiss this guy.
Are you the type of person who points out other men being handsome? Like
No.
if you're at dinner with you, will you
Never.
say to somebody, that's a handsome guy?
No.
Because I don't think I've ever done that in
Only
my
for
life.
comedic
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah.
It's only because we know John. If he was an asshole,
Yeah.
it'd be so much easier.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah.
He's also this sweet, sweet guy. And so damn genuine.
Yeah.
But that must have been fun.
It was so much fun. He was fantastic in the movie. He really made me laugh very hard during those scenes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We did a show with him around the holidays for Doug Benson, and he shared that he finally had surgery
Yes.
on the vocal cords. And, he's the spokesperson for Mercedes and has been now for a little while.
And now
he
American
said,
Airlines as well.
They literally said to me, call after the surgery. No, they wanted me to phone them so they could hear my voice over the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, which mathematically makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, they've got an investment.
Yeah.
But even that went perfectly.
Yeah.
The surgery.
The surgery.
You would have been happier if there was a little screw
It was
up.
a little tiny.
Yeah.
His voice was a little bit
Yeah.
like this. Because now you got John Hamm and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Now I'm the happiest guy in the world.
Now you're going into territory that I wanted to ask later.
Okay.
About sour grapes.
Yeah, what about it?
That happens to one of the characters
Oh
in
yeah.
the
Aha.
movie.
Yeah.
Aha. Let's talk about it.
Can we talk about sour grapes?
Yeah. Whatever you want.
Yeah, please. What do we? Huge. Stephen Weber and Craig Bierko also both been on the show. Big fans of both. Do you enjoy the filmmaking? Because television is a writer's medium. You're kind of in charge of everything the way that a director's in charge of everything on a movie. They're not that vastly different jobs on paper. What was your experience in terms of the difference?
I had to be involved with cameras.
A lot more, sure.
you know, and setting up shots and things like that, things I have no interest in.
Yeah, well, you know what? But Barry
Yeah.
Levinson's the same way.
Yeah.
You get an amazing DP
Right.
who knows everything
Yeah.
to a level of genius
Yeah.
and awards, and you say, you're my guy. I don't need to know what a 50 is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about that stuff. I like blocking scenes. I like directing actors.
Right.
But I don't think that I'm Mr. Visual,
Well,
you know?
it was a name we were going to give you.
And I remember somebody said to me, he'd worked on Albert Brooks's movie.
Right.
He said to me, Albert shoots very simply, you know.
Yeah.
I go, oh, okay, I'll do what Albert does. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Woody Allen sort of taught many people that comedy plays best in the two-shot. It seems to be kind of by the book. I'm not certain he wrote the book on it, but simplicity seems to be one of the...
I don't think, I mean, I don't like if I'm watching a comedy and I especially notice the direction. You
Camera.
yeah, I don't want to notice it.
Yeah.
I want to just follow the story.
The same way that the camera works in on the color of money on the cue balls. And you don't want the comedy coming on the punchline.
Right, yeah.
And then now the big question for me that I'm sincere about as I'm dipping my toe into the directing water is the editing process. It's the final rewrite.
Yeah.
It's your last chance to carve performances
Yeah.
based on existing footage. So you're now creating the rhythm and the momentum of a scene. And, you know, there's a debate sometimes on is the laugh moment on the person saying the funny thing or the person's reaction to the person saying the funny thing. You know, that argument, I mean, I assume it's just organic to every scene. It just sort of presents itself.
I've never
Dwelled on that.
dwelled on or thought it was a problem or anything like that. I mean, it presents itself, and I think they're easy decisions. But
And testing in front of an audience, because a lot of times they're going to tell you what you may not have known.
you know, Curb especially, the show was really written in editing, because we did 6, 7, 8 takes. A lot of them are all different because it's improvised.
Right.
So you had to sort of piece it together a lot of times, and it was a lot. There was a lot more to it than a scripted show.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And sometimes an embarrassment of riches. Too many choices for one line. There's 4 great versions of it. That sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, so you know, there's always decisions to be made. Yeah.
Right. But it's not like you're scripted and you're saying to the script supervisor, I like take 1 and 4. You wait till you get back
Yeah,
to
but
editing.
and there's not that much of a difference between take 1 and 4 anyway.
Right.
When it's improvised, there's the whole scene is off on a different. They're all different, in many cases.
Yeah, and actors laughing in the middle of the scene because it's improvised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're a pretty good laugher.
I laughed a lot. I had a great time, and most of the time in scenes, they would all make me laugh, all of them, and a lot of times in scenes I'd be having a scene, I would just start laughing. I'd go like this, keep it rolling. I'd go like this, keep it rolling. And then I go, okay.
Yeah.
And I'd continue, yeah.
I will get the giggles, as they call them, and I have to leave the set sometimes.
Yeah.
Christopher Guest, for example, I have to look here. I have to
Yeah.
look into his forehead. If I look into his eyes,
I do that trick too,
it's
yeah.
never going to work.
Can't
get through it.
I do that trick too. I look at the forehead, yeah.
We asked in the world of Twitter and elsewhere
Uh-oh.
for people to have an opportunity to ask you questions.
Oh.
You don't have to answer any of them.
Okay.
But I will tell you.
They've already asked the
They've already
question.
asked them.
Okay.
And they're not in my computer.
How did they, so they know beforehand that I'm
I
going
mentioned
beyond?
on Twitter.
Okay.
Asking them.
Oh, you did your
I
Twitter
gave,
thing,
I
yeah.
gave people an opportunity.
Okay.
Because, you've got fans.
Yeah,
As
okay.
it turns out.
All right.
You may not want to answer this as thoroughly as Jerry did,
Okay.
which surprised you,
Yeah.
it seemed like.
I did.
He said a little
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
We've got, now, you must be aware that there are people who speak in Seinfeld quotes to each other. Like it's the only form of communication between them.
No, I'm not aware of that.
You need to be.
Okay.
because it's a fact.
Is that right?
Yeah. These two and Jamie and Jack will text each other in the middle of the day, just one quote, the other quote, the other quote, the other quote, and then nothing else. So no actual conversation about anything.
I most recently I texted Jack and I asked him what's in the briefcase, and he responded in kind, crackers.
The hell?
Huh.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
It's one thing to be...
I'm sorry, I probably just totally freaked him out right now.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's one thing to be in the microcosm and the vernacular with a show that is quotable, but there are very few shows. I think The Simpsons, which of course had 26 years to pull on.
Yeah.
What are there other TV shows?
Honeymooners?
Honeymooners? Really? They text each other quotes from the Honeymooners?
I mean, it's a generational thing.
Yeah,
but
it's a little old.
My father will send me a picture of some meal he cooked up because he cooks twice a year. And if I don't respond, oh, chef of the future, I'm dead to him.
See, you get
That's
it.
funny. I get it. Yeah, yeah.
But that's what it means
Yeah,
to them to
okay.
be able to communicate in
That's
this
cool,
way.
yeah.
Because what you are clearly trying to do is to make the other person laugh. It's almost a game.
Yeah.
You know, is this
Or challenge them.
or challenge
Sometime,
them
like,
to know what the next
yeah.
line is?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a fun game. You got to admit it.
Because we're not competitive at all.
Nope. At Brian J. Mather on Twitter asks, the doll episode on Curb is one of the funniest ever. Any particular backstory to that?
Well, I had little girls.
Sure.
And
Your daughters were little.
yes, and I looked at the doll, and I was wondering if I could give it a haircut. And if so, what might be the consequences if I botched it? you
Right.
know? So that was it.
And after you had that thought, that question in your mind,
Yeah.
did you then go right to a piece of paper and write that down?
Positively.
Because I noticed when we were at the airport, the three of us, I'm not going to say what was happening around us, there was an observation made, and then you got your phone out and said, this might be a thing.
Yeah.
That sort of note-taking has been sort of a part of your...
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody does.
Because comedians, when you start out with material,
Yeah.
you're constantly keeping
Yes.
notes. But this, as you...
If I see something funny or I think of something funny, I'll write it down.
Yeah, it's got to be known.
Yeah.
Okay, we do a thing on the show where I ask you 5 questions. This or that. Yeah, Coke
You
or
knew this was
Coke or
gonna be-
Pepsi.
Yeah.
No correct answer.
Okay.
But they're specifically designed with you in mind.
Okay. You want me to be serious and give you the real answer?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'd like you to feel free to make fun of it.
Okay.
And feel free
All right.
to answer.
I usually, when people ask me questions, I'm compelled to answer truthfully.
Take them from the heart.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Okay.
Cheryl Hines or Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's a Sophie's choice. One of them's got to go.
That's Sophie's choice. Come on.
Okay. Festivus or open of restaurant Tourette's swear-off?
Well, Festivus, I wasn't there for that episode.
Stop with these silly questions.
I was gone. So.
Yeah. Vandelay Industries or marine biologist? Again, after you were gone. These people need to research these questions.
Now, the marine biologist was the name of an episode. Vandelay Industries was just a joke during
Well,
an
the
episode.
question is, what would be your dream job
Right.
to work for Vandelay Industries?
Oh, what would be my dream job? Oh, honestly, pretty stupid fucking.
I reject the premise of your question.
That's actually the correct answer.
Reject. Is that what you're like? Yeah. I reject the premise of this question. Let's move on.
Is that the Tom Hanks thing?
Yeah.
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 Tom Hanks said, I had a journalist tell me a way to avoid a question.
Yeah.
I object to the premise of this question. Because any other way they can bring it back.
Good. I'll start saying, I'll
I
steal
object
that.
to the premise of the
I'll
question.
steal that happily.
Get out with it.
And lastly, being directed by Woody Allen or pretending to be directed by Martin Scorsese?
I reject the premise of the question.
How'd it feel? Pretty good? That answer? Feels good.
I love it. You know, it's like taking the fifth. Yeah. Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that the journalist can actually say at that point.
I'm surprised you have such a great show, and
Why would I bring them in?
what are you soiling it for?
You know
with
what
those
it's for
idiotic
them?
questions?
It's for them.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you would think this would be enough for them.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing about the internet.
It's all participation.
It's very important that they be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it's not a thing. Now, I want to give the potentially, look, I don't want to say anything disparaging to your fanship of the Seinfeld program. I've mentioned that you guys will text each other as a way to communicate.
Sure.
But I do want to offer an opportunity to ask one question based on your fanship and devotion. You don't have to take the opportunity,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I
not
feel
prepared for
remiss
this.
if I hadn't offered.
I'm not prepared for this.
I'll defer. I wanted to know about Sour Grapes, quite frankly, which I tremendously love. I really do enjoy that movie thoroughly. So I'm good. I'm covered.
You got that out of
Yeah,
your
we
system?
talked about it, and he gave some good quips. I'm good.
I'm happy to answer any Seinfeld question you have, Sam.
Oh, well,
Isn't that extraordinary?
was the idea to do the voice of George Steinbrenner always yours, or how did that come up?
No, see, there's a good one. We wrote it, and then we were going to cast people to do it.
Never a notion to ask George to do it.
No. And we brought in a couple of people, and they didn't have it. And I said to Jerry, it should really sound, he's kind of a big blustery guy, and he kind of does. And Jerry goes, well, you should do it. And that was the whole deal.
That was it?
That was it. Yeah.
Did you instantly say yes because it made sense, or did you object initially?
No, it sounded like I actually did it in a funny way. So
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Right.
Was all this Steinbrenner stuff scripted, or was some of it just on the fly, what felt right in the moment?
Most of it was scripted, but a lot of it was on the fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A solid question. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Big
I
Stein
can't
needs a
believe it's going to
calzone?
go to waste, Jack.
Oh, I've got one.
All right, let's hear it.
Other than the main four, at the table reads, who was the funniest?
I have to reiterate the question because he's not mic'd. Other than the initial four, the stars of
Yeah.
Seinfeld, at the table reads, who was the funniest? Other than the four.
Right.
Well, again, we had great people. I mean, if I said Newman, then I would be sliding Estelle Harris and Jerry Stiller. So, I
Too many.
Yeah, too many.
In terms of Jerry Stiller,
Yeah.
he had such a specific rhythm that was not organic to the way anyone else speaks.
Yeah, a lot of it is because he's fighting for his line.
This is my assumption.
Yeah.
But I never got the validation that was in fact behind it.
You know what?
Or-
I'm being flip. He actually that's his thing.
Right. That anger that just
Yeah.
builds and builds,
Builds.
and then it, yeah.
And then it shoots out. Yeah.
Because William Shatner did say that the reason he paused is because he couldn't remember his lines. He did.
Yeah.
in the
I'm
be-
sure that's it did happen to Jerry.
Sure.
It's happened to everybody, of course.
Right. But it doesn't become a part of your.
But it happened to Jerry one night, and nobody. We were laughing so hard we couldn't get off the floor.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. That staccato
Yeah.
passion of energy and anger. Just thinking about it
Yeah.
makes you laugh.
I know.
You've had 4 minutes. It's going to come and go, this opportunity. All right. Your devotion doesn't need to be riddled with questions.
I was gonna ask a Steinbrenner question.
Oh, really?
That
Well,
was
that's good.
No, I wasn't prepared. I should have thought of this beforehand.
Okay. I just need a little bit of your experience from Saturday Night Live, and can you refer to it without military analogies? Because it's all I've heard in terms of the experience of working there.
Yeah, I can easily refer to it without military analogies.
You're going to have to back that up with some sort of proof now.
Well,
Chronologically, you had written on Fridays.
yeah,
The West Coast
yeah.
attempt,
Then I moved back to New York,
right?
and then I got a job over there, and there were. I got it with 2 or 3 weeks before the first show. I came on board.
And was this a rebuilding year?
Yes.
Cast-wise?
It was a rebuilding year. It was the year of Christopher,
Chris Gaston,
Chris
Marty
Guest,
Short, and
Marty,
Billy Crystal, and
Harry, Harry Shearer.
And there's some leftover guys. I think, who was it? We were just watching the documentary on this. Who was
Jim Belushi was there.
right?
And Eddie Murphy.
And
And
Gary
Eddie Murphy,
Gary
yeah.
Kroger.
Right.
Eddie Murphy
And
wasn't
Julia.
there.
No?
Julia was there.
Julia was
Mary
and
Gross.
that meant Brad Hall.
And no, Brad wasn't there.
I'm way off.
Yeah. I was there.
Yes.
So I remember writing a couple of sketches, some news pieces.
Right.
I was fortified for the first show, and at 7 o'clock at night, maybe 6 o'clock, I don't know. It's a Tuesday night, and the next day is the first read-through. And I pressed the button for the elevator, and the elevator doors opened, and the executive producer, who was Dick Ebersol, and he said, where are you going? I said, oh, I'm going home, you know. He said, you're going home?
Really?
Yeah. I said, yeah, I wrote, got 2 or 3 sketches in, got 2 news pieces, you know. And he said, well, we don't, we stay up all night on the night before the read-through.
Tuesday
on
night?
Tuesday night, we stay up all night. And I go, well, why? Why would you stay up all night? And he said, well, that's how we do it. How you do what? I don't understand. They've been there, you know, a month, 6 weeks. What is going to be accomplished for the next, what, 8, 9, 10 hours to stay up all night?
Right.
For what? And I said, well, I did the work, so I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
You left.
I left. Never got a sketch on.
Really?
Yeah.
Remarkable. Weird that was not held against you.
Yeah.
That's the question, is how soon after is the slyly aborted walkout?
Oh, that's about, you know about that.
Well, the research shows.
Yeah, that's about 5, 6 shows in. I haven't gotten anything on the air.
Right.
And the sketches have, I have to say, they played very well at the read-through.
They're getting laughs. You know what works and what doesn't. It's a tough room, and if it works, it works.
Absolutely, yeah. So another one of my sketches got cut after dress, and it's about 5 minutes before the show is about to start. And I walk up to Dick, and I just went crazy.
You gave him a piece of your mind.
I said,
Feel free.
I said, this fucking show stinks! It fucking stinks! I'm done! Gone! I've had it! I quit!
Never felt so better.
Went home.
Yeah.
You never heard this story?
No.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm sorry.
So
Not told by you.
I walked home, and I remember it's freezing out, and I was walking home, and I started to think, what did you just do? So they don't put your sketches on. Big deal, you know? What do you care? You're getting paid. And then I started to think about the money,
Sure.
and I thought, well, that's 2 years with reruns that I could live. 2 years I just cost myself,
Easily.
you know?
Yeah.
So I go home, and my neighbor, Kramer,
Yeah.
he says, what are you doing? What are you doing home? How come you're not at the show? I said, I lost my temper. I cut my sketch. I quit. He said, oh, what'd you do that for? I said, I know, I'm an idiot, you know. He said, well, he said, you know what you should do? You should go back on Monday morning and pretend the whole thing never happened. I said, geez.
So easy.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Would it work?
Yeah, so I said, what the hell? So on Monday morning, there's a writers' meeting. I go in, I say, good morning to people. I take a seat. Now, everybody heard this outburst.
It was pretty loud.
Yeah. And I'm getting looks like, what the hell are you doing here?
But no one's saying it.
No one's saying it. I'm just getting looks. And then Dick started to go around the room, asking people what they're working on, And he got to me, and I said, I'm thinking about doing this sketch of this acrobatic troupe, Okay, yeah.
Were you making that up, or you actually had some stuff from before you quit?
No, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure I had some stuff, and
Right.
moved on to the next person. That was that. And then I did it on a
Seinfeld
Yeah.
episode. George quits his job and then returns as if nothing happened. I wonder if they'd come to you in that table of pitching the story ideas for that week's show, and you had said, "I get this idea of a sketch of a guy who yells at his boss and quits, and then comes back on Monday."
Oh, if they would have taken?
Oh my God!
Oh, you mean that? Oh, that? Oh, right then and there.
When Dick Everett
Oh,
told-
yeah, that would have been a good idea. Yeah.
You don't need to rub their face in
No,
it that
no,
they've
no.
accepted you back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And when you left that, did you think it worked? Did you go back and tell Kramer?
Oh my God.
Because that's one thing to have the chutzpah to do it.
Yeah. Oh no, it was incredible. Yeah.
Saved you.
Yeah. No, I was jumping in the air.
Yeah. I cannot thank you enough, honestly and truly. I have more questions, but I feel like I've kept you longer than you were planning on.
I have no idea. It was so much fun. You want me to make a time
I
guess?
would like you to guess.
Okay, let's see.
We've been engaged
All
in
right,
a conversation.
let's see how good I am at time. Okay, I got here at 3:40. There was some little powder on me, some little kibitzing. Yeah, it felt like we didn't start till
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. It felt like 4 o'clock. I would say, I'm going to say, five 38.
Yes. Wow. Exactly. It's 5:37 and 49 seconds.
I'm very impressed.
It's never been done before.
Thank you.
192 shows.
Thank you.
Never been done.
Thank you.
You were within 11 seconds. 11 seconds.
Yeah. And you know what? I almost said 5:37.
Isn't it Kramer who has the internal clock?
Oh, is that right?
No.
Well, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
He sets his own alarm.
He sets his own alarm.
It sets his own alarm. See, now they come out. Now they're close to the information.
Oh no, we've been sitting on it the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
So then that's an hour and 37 minutes. The first 7 minutes, of course, we wasted your time by talking to.
That I didn't get at all. You know?
Yeah.
It was so rude.
So torturous.
That's just for my parents.
Yeah, I'm sitting here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay. Yeah, for your parents.
Yeah.
But you do it every show?
Do it at the end of the show, maybe. Let the guests
Do it
leave.
at the end of the show. Yeah.
Right.
Let's just change the format of
Yes.
200 episodes.
From
we've done.
henceforth.
I reject the premise of your question.
I got all the compliments I could ever hope for, but truly.
you were
Please,
wonderful.
let's not even.
Huh?
Let's-
What? You know what I'm thinking about?
Yes,
I'm thinking about the road.
We can do a series of
Yeah.
theaters.
I'm thinking you and me on the road.
A series of Q&As. It's already in the works. Honestly and truly, thank you. And now sit there uncomfortably for 45 seconds while I say goodbye.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Sure.
Normally at this time, the last thing I ask the guests to do is to play the Larry King game where you look into your camera.
Oh, God.
But I knew not to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What
What
do other people do?
Well, I just want the audience to know that I hadn't forgotten, because there's a lot of people that would be, what are you, an idiot? It's a game our head writer Jamie created where I loved when Larry was on CNN.
Yeah.
And before he would go to the phones, we go to Poughkeepsie, before he would do that, he would look at the camera and he would share something about himself that nobody wanted to know. And it's the greatest moment because he's clueless as any human's ever been on television. On CNN,
Yeah.
just I like Oreos better than gumdrops. You know what I mean? It was like, why? No one. And then with absolute sincerity. So the Larry King game is you just reenact that moment. I want a bad Larry King impression. I want you to share something about Larry King that nobody wants to know, and then go to the phones. And if the name of the city is funny sounding, that's the bit. And this is your last opportunity to play the Larry King game.
Yeah,
You're good. Okay. But it's a good bit.
It's a good bit.
It's a good bit. Yeah. Shall I give you the prototype? No, I've already got the laugh. Just let it go. All right. I want to thank Jamie and Sammy and Dr. Chen here in the studio. Emily Goodwin's sitting in for us, and Brandis as well. Helped out tremendously because we were lost without her. I want to thank her.
Did you just go into Bing Crosby?
A little bit.
Oh, okay,
boy.
all right, yeah.
Brandis. Oh, yeah. Harry, Nathaniel. Hurry, boys, with that Minute Maid. Danielle Overland, of course. Samantha Ward on makeup. And the one and only Josh Negrin, of course, who popped in the middle of his workday. We did this pre-tape. Check us out. Let us know again how you're watching the show or listening. Contact at KevinPollocksChatShow.com. Check out the calendar or see who's coming up next. That's all I can possibly. I just want this to last forever. That's my problem now. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.